Have you ever watched a market make a massive, obvious move and just kicked yourself for fighting it the whole way? Yeah, it's a feeling every trader knows all too well. Well, today we're going to unpack a mental model that can completely reframe how you see those trends and hopefully move you from confusion to total clarity. So let's start with the big one, the million-dollar question. You see a stock or a currency or whatever you trade making this powerful, obvious move. In hindsight, the trend is crystal clear. And yet so many of us, and yep, I've been there too, we either hesitate or even worse, we actually bet against it. Why? Why do we fight something that seems so obvious?
You know that little voice in your head? It probably sounds pretty familiar. It's whispering things like, ugh, I can't sell now, it's way too low. Or maybe it's that voice of false hope. Just hold on, it has to come back soon. And of course, the all-time classic, this is all just manipulated. This internal chatter, well, it's a huge distraction, and it's stopping us from seeing what the market is actually trying to tell us.
So, to break this cycle, we need a new way of looking at things. Let's just forget the charts and the tickers for a minute and think of the market as what it really is, a giant, non-stop auction. Seriously, this one little shift in perspective can change everything. Okay, so imagine this. You own a valuable painting, and you take it to an auction house. The bidding starts, and right away it gets aggressive. We're not talking about one or two people kind of timidly raising their hands. No, you see a whole room full of people getting involved, a clear consensus forming right in front of your eyes. Your conclusion is going to be pretty simple. The market has collectively decided your painting is worth way more than you thought. The accepted value is climbing, and fast. And this is what just makes it click. Faced with that room full of eager buyers, would you really tap the auctioneer on the shoulder and say, all right, that's enough, I'll take that first lowball offer? Of course not. That would be completely absurd. You'd let the auction play out because that high number of bidders is screaming a powerful story about rising value. So, how does this whole auction idea play out in the financial markets? I mean, if the price is the bid, how do we actually see the number of bidders? Well, the answer lies in the market's loudest and maybe most ignored signal, volume. And by the way, if this analogy is giving you a light bulb moment, a quick like or subscribe really does help us keep these explainers coming your way. You see, volume isn't just some random bar graph at the bottom of your chart. It's the proof of participation. It is, quite literally, the number of bidders in our market auction at any given price. It shows us exactly where the crowd is coming together and agreeing on a new value. And this is where it all comes together beautifully. A breakout on low volume, that's our hesitant auction with just one or two bidders. There's no real conviction there. It's weak. But a breakout on high volume, now that's our crowded auction room. It's a powerful, undeniable signal that the market as a whole is accepting a new, higher price. This brings us to the final and maybe the most important piece of this whole puzzle. It's a fundamental mindset shift, something the source material calls an incontrovertible law of trading. And it's all about where you place your focus in those critical make-or-break moments. See, here's the core problem. When a big move happens, a lot of traders get trapped inside their own heads. They're totally focused on their own fear, their greed, their frustration. They get so wrapped up in their own emotional reaction that they go completely deaf to the market's message. They totally miss the story the auction is telling them. So the crucial takeaway is this. An unsuccessful trader's focus turns inward. They start asking questions like, how do I fix this? How do I make up for that loss? But a successful trader's focus, it turns outward. They look at that high volume breakout and they ask, what is the market telling me right now? What does this event mean for the accepted value? One misses the trend, the other understands it and flows with it. So this is the question I want to leave you with. The next time you see a market breaking out, just stop for a second and listen. Are you hearing your own inner monologue of fear and hope? Or are you hearing the story the auction is telling you? Because where you put your focus, well, that's what's going to determine your results. This really powerful framework comes from the work of Dr. Yatin Joshi. So if you want to dive deeper into this whole auction theory idea, you can find more of his great insights right here. Thanks so much for tuning in.